Hey boys and girls, Lucky here and welcome back to another CSGO video. Today with another episode of Noob to Pro, the series that should help you get better at Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Today's episode is more about a specific training routine and improving yourself in a certain skill test. As you all know, Noob to Pro is also a two-part series, meaning on Monday you'll always get a big tutorial/guide video, including the training routine for the week on Mondays like this one, and then on Tuesday I'll be streaming and you can ask me additional questions that you might have had for the video or just anything CSGO related in general, and I can do some live teaching then. But I'd say, let's get right into it. So, before we get into this week's training routine, I have a question for you guys. Noob to Pro has been going on for about 3 months now, and this is quite a long time to improve and actually get better at the game. So my question for you guys is, how much do you guys think have you improved, or how many ranks actually did you climb up the ladder? Maybe you went all the way up from Silver to Master Guardian and something like that. Please let me know in the comment section down below. I'd really love to hear your opinion on the series so far, and basically how it did help you, if it did help you at all, and basically how you were able to improve based on that. That would be very awesome. And because of that, today we'll be doing some sort of a skill test. Actually, I should have done that right from the get-go, from the first episode, and after a couple of months like we have right now, we should have done that to have a better comparison. But similar to the 30-day aim challenge that I did, and this is basically where this video is kind of based around a little bit, we're doing a 1-week aiming training challenge, also including movement, so meaning certain jumps and stuff like that, or just strafing around, including surfing as well. So you gotta do that with certain things you have to complete, and then we'll see how much you can actually improve just in 1 week by playing the game regularly to, well, get off the rust, just, I don't know, stay in shape, or just in general, again, become more consistent with playing the game. Alrighty, so the first part of this week's training routine will focus around aiming. What you want to do for this is you want to go to the Browse Community Servers tab and go to Free-for-All Deathmatch Servers. As you can see, I'm playing in a FFA server right now, and what you want to do is either find one which is running the same config like the one right here, which is basically alternating between headshot only, then normal free-for-all deathmatch, then pistol headshot only, and then normal pistol free-for-all deathmatch. However, if you cannot find a server like this, you just gotta find own each dedicated servers and then use those and switch in between. And you basically wanna play each of these brackets for about 10 minutes in order to get better. The reason for that, why we're playing free-for-all deathmatch in the first place, is that previously we had some Valve deathmatch in there, and that's usually when you're not as good yet. It's very... well, it's easier to not get stomped there, and in free-for-all deathmatch usually they're better players. However, since we had enough time to actually get better ourselves, we can now actually go into free-for-all deathmatch and further increase our skills by having better opponents, which will then push us even further to get better ourselves. On top of that, free-for-all deathmatch will just keep you more alert of everything that's happening around you, since you can basically be attacked from any angle, and also the chaotic spawns will then again even just make you more focused to not get killed from behind by just, well, checking repeatedly basically. Now, why are you playing each of the 4 kind of styles for about 10 minutes? Now, the first one is pretty obvious. Pistol free-for-all deathmatch, meaning that you want to get better with your pistol skills in order to dominate in the pistol rounds. This is one of the most essential rounds in CSGO. However, it's not just for the pistol round, it is also for just having the normal rounds in the game and then running out of ammo, or having to switch to your sidearm, or just using your sidearm while you're rotating in between sides so you're not getting caught off guard when you're using your knife. So having the good pistol skills and a point and click aim required for it is extremely important. Now, for this, headshot only is probably more effective. So if you do not have enough time, you can skip the normal free-for-all deathmatch with the pistols and just go to straight free-for-all deathmatch pistols only. However, for rifling you want to do both, because you want to get better with your crosshair placement to, well, in the headshot only modus, to get those headshots, kill them quicker and be more efficient with your rifling. However, you also want to play the normal free-for-all deathmatch mode, where body shots count, so you can see that you better learn the normal time to kill. You also will improve your spraying, since you sooner or later will have to spray at one point or another, so you also want to practice that and get some, well, better training in for that to be more consistent with it again. And this is basically the first part of this week's training routine, just a heavy focus on aim and free-for-all deathmatch. Again, make sure you play all of the 4 mentioned things, or, well, 3 of them in case you're skipping the normal free-for-all pistol deathmatch. So I'd say let's switch over to the next part, which is about movement. Now, as some of you already guessed, this part is about surfing, and many of you would be like, well, surfing is kind of easy, why do we have to do this? And of course, once you, well, get the hang of surfing and how it works, it's kind of easy. However, keep in mind the important thing about surfing right here is that you want to get better with your strafing and with your air strafes in order to better control your character mid-air and just to generally get a better feeling for it. Now, the thing why we're surfing is that you can first practice on a large scale, like right here, just in mid-air, and then you get it smaller and smaller and smaller and tighter until you're actually having the size of a normal match, or better said map, where you would be strafing around to, for example, do one of the cache jumps or one of the mirage jumps in order to gain the speed that you need in order to travel the distance. However, it's a lot easier to first start out with a wider distance like this in order to get a better feel for it. Now, of course, you already know that. I talked about that in a previous episode. Now, the thing about surfing right here is you want to beat your own score, meaning that every day you want to try to get a better score the next day. And do not try to, well, start out bad in the first day and then just progressively make it easier for yourself because you're giving yourself kind of a reversed head start, if you get what I mean. Make sure that you're trying to get faster and complete the map with a better time each time that you're trying, or better said each day, and try to set a new record. Like that, you're again pushing yourself. It's again good to just try and train, get well comfortable with the things and be more familiar with everything. But just when you're trying to get better, you really want to push yourself and compare yourself to previous things that you did in order to, once again, see how much you actually did improve, which this episode is focusing around. Again, it's more of a just, well, purely training routine or skill test kind of episode to see how many things or how much you can progress in 1 week. Now, the other movement part, as already mentioned, is the jumps. So I talked about that in the last episode about the advanced movement, and I also linked the map in the description below. And it's basically up to you what kind of system you want to use. You could either use the map, which is quite handy to be fair, because it's actually counting your times, so you can see how much you've improved and how much faster you've actually gotten. However, you can also just do a simple test by doing the jumps for yourself in the normal jumps map and then see how many tries it is taking you to get it down. This means you'll actually check for your consistency, how consistent you are and how often in succession you can actually manage to get the jumps down in order to get to the objective, get to the enemies, get to wherever you want to go. And again, this is the other part of the movement training routine for this week, so make sure that also every day that you're trying to up your consistency or your time depending on what you're using. Of course, if you're well fancy, you can do both of them as well, making sure that you're actually getting better altogether and more efficiently. Last but not least, we got a skill test for our previously learned aim practice that we did in free-for-all deathmatch. Keep in mind that usually aiming isn't all, movement also isn't everything that you need to know. However, those are the basics, meaning that without them you can never really get good at Counter-Strike. And even at higher levels, you need to be more efficient and more consistent and, well, more precise with them in order to get even better. So in this quick test that we're doing right here, we're on a map called Aim Training by Crash, I think. I'll also link it for sure this time in the description down below, so you can just download it from the workshop. And what you're trying right here is you want to hit all the circles. You're basically setting them to rotating. You want to decrease the size to 20, and you also want to decrease the duration to 500 milliseconds instead of 750. By that, of course, you also gotta consider this, your reaction time a little bit. So if you're having more of a slow reaction time, having the delay or better the duration to 750 can be also acceptable. Make sure to do the reaction time test first in order to see how much your reaction time is, and you basically want to give yourself double of that plus 100 milliseconds in order to shoot the targets, because this is a realistic time that is actually taking you to see a target, react to it, then do the movement part, do the aiming part, and then the shooting. So as you can see in the background right here, this test is the one that I did for my 30-day aim challenge video. And what you're doing then is just trying to hit 25 targets in a row and to get as many of them as possible. As you can see, my minimum was 80, my new minimum after having done for 1 week was 88, and then after that my record was 96. I'm using specifically this video for the training part of the video because I definitely know how this is working out, and since I've done it myself without just spoiling it and doing it once again, I can see my results and know how much it's done for me. Also, in my case, I haven't seen that much of an improvement because I was already at a higher level. However, since you're only starting out or only trying to get better, it's gonna be interesting to see how much you can actually improve by doing that. So yeah, as I said before, this week's video is more of a general training / skill test video, and even though skill is not only aiming and moving once again, it's a very decent measurement to actually see how much you improved simply by just excluding everything else and putting your focus on only one of those things. So yeah, I think this pretty much wraps it up for this video. Please let me know, once again, your story, how much you have actually improved from the first episode and how you did like the series so far. But yeah, I think it's pretty much all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and luckySkillFaker out.